What happens when two music icons with decades of history and strong opinions clash over respect and artistic integrity? You're about to find out, because what unfolded between Morris Day and Jennifer Hudson on her talk show turned into one of the most uncomfortable and heated interviews ever caught on camera. The atmosphere grew so tense that you could practically feel it through the screen. By the time it was over, one of them couldn't take it anymore and walked right off set. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, because this story is intense from the very first minute until the very end. Picture this. Jennifer Hudson is seated across from Morris Day, the legendary frontman of the time. At first, it looked like it would just be a normal interview about his latest project. But what started as polite small talk spiraled into a head-on collision no one could have predicted. Jennifer began with her usual charm, asking Morris about his newest music and his thoughts on today's music scene. Morris, in his trademark flashy style, looked cool and collected, ready to reminisce on a career that stretches more than 4 decades. "It's such an honor to have you here," Jennifer said warmly, her voice filled with genuine admiration. "I grew up hearing your music in my parents' house. I've been a fan for as long as I can remember." Morris smiled and adjusted his jacket before replying. "Well, thank you, Jennifer. It's always good to be with someone who values real music. You know, the kind that comes from the heart, not just from a computer program." That last remark carried a sting, though Jennifer didn't seem to notice right away. She pressed on with her questions, asking about his songwriting process and what had motivated his latest work. Morris grew animated, making it clear he felt modern music had lost something important. "Back in our day," he explained, "we poured everything into the music. We didn't have machines doing half the work. We sang live. We played real instruments. We put in the blood, sweat, and soul." Jennifer nodded politely, but there was a flicker in her eyes as she prepared to respond. "I think every generation brings its own kind of greatness, Morris. Artists today are doing incredible things with the tools available to them." "Tools," Morris repeated with a smirk, his voice heavy with sarcasm. "That's the problem right there. Music isn't supposed to be about tools. It's about raw talent, the kind you can't fake. Either you've got it or you don't." The audience shifted uncomfortably, picking up on the change in tone. Jennifer's smile tightened as she tried to guide things back on track. "Let's talk about your upcoming tour. I know your fans are thrilled to hear the classics live again." But Morris wasn't ready to move on. He leaned forward, his expression sharp. "Since we're talking about talent, let me ask you something, Jennifer. Do you honestly think all these reality show winners and competition singers have what it takes to last in this business?" The weight of the question was impossible to miss. Given Jennifer's own rise through American Idol before winning both an Oscar and Grammys, the implication was crystal clear. Cameras caught the subtle tightening in her face, though she stayed calm. "I believe talent shows up in different forms," Jennifer replied evenly. "What matters is hard work, determination, and yes, talent, no matter how someone's career begins." "That's a very diplomatic answer," Morris said with a knowing grin. "But deep down, we both know there's a difference between someone who earns their spot the hard way, grinding for years, and someone fast-tracked through TV exposure." The studio went silent. Jennifer's jaw tensed, and for the first time, she looked truly uncomfortable. "Morris, are you suggesting artists from competition shows aren't legitimate?" "I'm not suggesting anything," he shot back. "I'm saying it outright. Real artists don't need a stage handed to them. They create their own stage with nothing but talent and drive." Jennifer set her notes aside, locking eyes with him. "So you're saying that someone like me, who came from American Idol, isn't a real artist?" Morris shrugged casually. "Those are your words, not mine. But since you asked, let me put it this way. How many songs did you actually write before that show? How many instruments could you play? How many years did you spend hustling in tiny clubs?" The tension became almost unbearable. Jennifer's professionalism started to crack, the fire building in her voice. "Morris, I think you're confusing opportunity with talent. Yes, I got my start on a competition show, but every step after that was built on my own work and dedication." "Was it, though?" Morris pressed, clearly enjoying the discomfort he was stirring. "Or was it the machine that did it for you? Record deals lined up, promotions ready, industry connections handed to you on a silver platter?" Jennifer's voice rose. "That's insulting. I've worked harder than you realize. I've won Grammys. I've won an Oscar. None of that was given to me. I earned it. Morris waved his hand dismissively. Awards don't mean much anymore. They're like participation trophies. Back in my time, you had to really prove yourself before anyone handed you recognition. That landed like a slap. Jennifer's eyes burned with anger. Participation trophies? Are you kidding me? I've proven myself over and over in music, in film, on Broadway. And you want to dismiss that as nothing? Multiple fields? Morris repeated mockingly. That's the problem. Real artists stay focused. They dedicate their lives to one craft instead of chasing every spotlight they can find. Jennifer leaned forward in her chair, her voice trembling with fury. So now it's wrong for me to be versatile? To grow? To take risks? To challenge myself? Morris stayed calm, which only fueled her frustration. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying there's a difference between someone who lives and breathes music and someone who treats it as one of many options. The silence in the studio grew heavier by the second. Jennifer gripped her chair, visibly fighting to stay composed. You know what, Morris? I've respected you from the start of this interview, and all you've done is belittle me and my career. I haven't insulted you, Morris said smoothly. I'm just explaining what real artistry is compared to what passes as artistry in today's entertainment machine. Jennifer's voice shook, part anger, part pain. Your perspective isn't just outdated, it's bitter. You're trying to tear me down because you feel threatened by artists who succeeded differently than you. Threatened by a talent show contestant? Morris scoffed. Please, sweetheart. That word was the breaking point. Jennifer's composure shattered. Don't you dare call me sweetheart. I am not some little girl for you to patronize. I am a professional. I am your host. Show some respect. Morris raised his eyebrows, feigning innocence. Whoa, calm down. I was just being friendly. Friendly? Jennifer's laugh was sharp and without humor. You've spent the whole time undermining me, dismissing my achievements, and you call that friendly? That's not friendly, Morris. That's disrespectful. The cameras zoomed in on every twitch of their faces. Morris shifted uncomfortably for the first time. I'm just being honest about the industry. If you can't handle a real discussion, maybe you shouldn't be interviewing real musicians. Jennifer's voice cracked, rising. Are you saying I'm not a real musician? I've sold millions of albums. I've sung with legends. I've been honored by the biggest music institutions in the world. Selling records doesn't make you a musician, Morris interrupted, waving his hand again. That just means you had the right marketing team at the right time. Jennifer shot to her feet, her hands on her desk. Enough. You came on my show, my platform, and you've done nothing but insult me. Who gave you the right? The right? Morris laughed coldly. 40 years in this business gives me the right. Being part of a band that actually changed music gives me the right. Creating original work, not just covering songs on TV, gives me the right. The jab about cover songs cut deep. Jennifer's face flushed. Originality? Let's talk about that. How many of your songs were written by Prince? How much of your success came from his genius? For the first time, Morris looked rattled. The mention of Prince clearly stung. Excuse me, Prince and I were collaborators, partners. Collaborators? Jennifer shot back. He wrote the songs. He produced the albums. He built the image. If anyone should be accused of riding coattails, maybe it's you. That hit like a bomb. Morris sprang up, his chair rolling back. You don't know what you're talking about. Prince and I grew up together. We created that sound together. That's not the same as winning a TV contest. Jennifer laughed bitterly. Handed to me? Do you think Idol was easy? Competing against incredible singers every week, pouring my heart into every note, facing millions of critics. That wasn't handed to me. I earned it. Earned? Morris cut in. You sang other people's hits in front of judges. That's auditioning, not artistry. The room felt like it could shatter from the tension. Even the crew behind the cameras looked shaken. Jennifer's producer gestured wildly, desperate to contain the chaos. You know what, Morris? Jennifer said quietly, her voice trembling with anger. I invited you here to celebrate your music. Instead, you've spent the entire time tearing me down. I'm just telling the truth, Morris insisted, arms crossed. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's on you, Jennifer finally snapped. What makes me uncomfortable is having a guest insult me in front of my audience. What makes me uncomfortable is you. who leans so much on Prince, trying to lecture me about authenticity. Morris's expression darkened. Don't you ever question my relationship with Prince? You weren't there. You have no right. And you have no right to diminish my journey, Jennifer fired back. Unlike you, I've never needed to put down another artist just to prove my worth. Morris stepped closer to her desk, his voice hard. The difference between us is I earned my place in history with creativity. You got famous singing other people's songs on television. Jennifer's voice was full of rage but steady. I can't believe the disrespect. I've achieved things most artists dream about, and I did it with hard work, discipline, and talent. Morris smirked. If you say so, Jennifer's eyes flared. If I say so? Let me tell you, I've proven it on Broadway, in movies, on records, on every stage I've ever stood on. I don't need to cling to the past. My career speaks for itself. Morris laughed mockingly. Your resume was written by TV producers. Mine was written by audiences who saw something real. Real? Jennifer nearly shouted. Real was standing on that stage week after week, being judged by millions and still giving it my all. Real was turning that into an Oscar-winning performance in my first film. Real is everything I've worked for. Morris shook his head. These days, anyone can act emotional and win an Oscar. Standards aren't what they used to be. Jennifer froze, her expression hardening into pure fury. Get out! Morris blinked. What? I said, get out, Jennifer repeated, pointing to the door. This interview is over. I won't let you sit here and disrespect me or my career another second. Morris gathered his things, scoffing. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Today's artists can't handle honesty. Everything has to be sugar-coated. You call this honesty? Jennifer shot back. You've been attacking me personally from the moment you sat down. That's not honesty. That's cruelty. Morris straightened his jacket smugly. I'm just telling it like it is. If you can't handle that, maybe this business isn't for you, Jennifer snapped, her voice sharp. Don't you dare tell me where I belong. I've earned this through talent and work, something you'd understand if you weren't so busy clinging to the past. Morris was already walking off. The present is full of fake artists who think winning a contest makes them real. When the shows fade, only true artistry will remain. Jennifer called for security, but Morris waved it off. No need, I'm leaving. But remember this, only the real ones last. With that, Morris Day stormed off the set, leaving Jennifer visibly shaking with anger behind her desk. The audience sat in stunned silence, unsure whether to clap or stay quiet. Jennifer took a breath, forcing herself to face the camera. Well, she said slowly, her voice trembling, that's one way to end an interview. She looked into the lens, still visibly shaken. I want to apologize to everyone watching. That's not the type of conversation I wanted to have. I believe there's room in this industry for artists of all paths. What matters isn't how you start, but what you do with your chance. Her hands still trembled as she continued. We don't need to tear others down to make our point. Music should bring us together, not divide us. It should inspire, uplift, and connect us. She looked one last time at the camera. Thank you for watching. Let this be a reminder that disagreements don't have to turn into disrespect. There's space in music for all of us. The tension still hung heavy in the air. The confrontation had left everyone shaken. Two music legends with extraordinary achievements, yet completely unable to meet each other with grace or respect. What do you think about Morris Day's remarks? Were his points fair, or did he cross the line? Share your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to subscribe for more moments like this. The music industry is full of clashes like this one, and we'll be breaking them down for you.